Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to all of you. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Nisar. Good afternoon, Rohit. I hope all of you are doing well, doing good and fine. Right. So today is Friday. I am Drishti, and as you all know, we started this new initiative a couple of weeks back, and today is your class 11, and today we are going to discuss a couple of topics from your ethics section. This is, I guess, this is the first ever topic we are going to discuss from your ethics and integrity section. So this is going to be an interesting one, and we are going to discuss a topic from your social issues section as usual, right? So let's see the index for today. So this is your index for today. Your index is, first we are going to discuss about ethics of doping. Sorry about that. We are going to discuss ethics of doping, right? So there are ethical issues, certain ethical issues involved with your doping section. It has been in news because of a couple of things have happened during past week. We are going to discuss what all has happened, and it is painting a really negative picture about India on the world stage. So we are going to discuss that, how it has evolved, what are the repercussions, what are the involving agencies, what is the way forward, etc, etc, everything, right? Then second, the Ministry of Family and Health Welfare, they have the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, they have released certain data about National Family Health Survey 5, which was recently conducted, and it has shown certain promising aspects, certain promising data. So we are going to discuss what it shows and what it really means, right? So let's get started. So the issue of doping was in news. Doping was in news. Why? Because there have been 3-4 instances in past 10 days. Why doping has been in news? Your first reason was your two national level Indian sprinters. Sprinters are someone who run the short races in a at a length of speed, right? Your two short sprinters of national level and two throwers who have represented India at Tokyo Olympics. So athletes of Olympic level, they have been tested positive for anti-doping regulations in past few months. Then recently Kamalpreet Kaur, she is the discus thrower, there has been an issue with her, we'll discuss that. And recently there was this relay racer. She was supposed to run in 400 meters relay race. Her name has not been disclosed just yet. So she got into India's core team because she showed promising sprinting techniques and caliber. But now that she has come into limelight because she was showing exceptionally her performance was exceptionally well as compared to her national record. She actually beat her national record. But there is the international watchdog, Monaco based international watchdog, they actually wanted to test her for doping agents, but since then she has gone incommunicado. She has absconded, there is no trace of her. So she is being suspected of being a using doping agents to enhance her performance. Also, Athletics Federation of India has been trying to contact her, to reach out to her, but even then her she is not reachable by any means. She was supposed to report. There was an event in Turkey, in Antalya. She was supposed to report there, but even there she is not present. So this has been portraying India in a really bad light, and this all comes just after Neeraj Chopra has won us gold in recent Olympics, and when Commonwealth Games are just about to happen. So this topic we can expect related to athletics. maybe you've seen that recently last year 3 questions were there from your sports section. So in this mains we can surely expect you'll have a ethics based question from sports section. So this is why it is important that we cover all these topics holistically, right? So this I've told you why this has been in news. Now this AIU, your international watchdog, AIU is your international watchdog. It is a Monaco based unit which is called Athletics Integrity Unit, right? They also announced that Kamalpreet Kaur, she was a 6th place finisher at Tokyo Olympics. She has been tested for stanozolol, right, which is a banned anabolic steroid, banned by your World Anti-Doping Agency code, right? It's a code which is given by WADA, World Anti-Doping Agency. We're going to discuss about that in detail, right? And since 2017, your WADA has been, AIU has taken over certain couple of things which are related to sports, which includes your testing, intelligence gathering, corruption, betting, your manipulation of age and results. Also, everything under this purview, it comes under your AIU's purview. So they have been keeping a close watch, very close watch on what has been happening over this, right? Now, what is doping? See, it also becomes really, it portrays India in really bad light because India has not had a very good track record in the Olympics. If you see the total medal tally list, I'm going to show it to you in the slide ahead. India has not been one of the topmost achievers, but when it comes to doping, India has constantly been there in top 5 of the most doping agent using countries, right? On the current list, India stands with Russia, Kenya, Italy and India, right? Even if when I'll show you your past records of WADA, so India has been there on 3rd number, which is exceptionally bad. So what is doping? Let's start just with the basic definition. So doping means athletes taking illegal substances to improve their performances, right? Certain substances that have been banned, totally banned by the international watchdogs and the sports federations, right? Athletes have been taking them due to n number of reasons. We'll discuss what the reasons are, right? And 5 classes of banned drugs are there, and the most common are stimulants and your hormones, performance enhancing hormones, right? Then health risks that are involved in taking them, they are banned by, because of health risks, they are banned by the governments and the sports accordingly bodies, right? Now, a couple of years ago, Meldonium was in news. Meldonium, the whole debate, it started with Meldonium. Why Meldonium was in news? Because it was very sharply related to Maria Sharapova. I hope you know who Maria Sharapova is. Russian, really tall tennis player. So she was found that she was using Meldonium, which she had been taking for past 10 years because she said there's a history of diabetes in her family. So she said she has been taking that for past 10 years, but it was banned by WADA. So she was totally banned from participating in Olympics altogether, right? In any sort of tennis tournament. So there was a huge controversy around it. So Meldonium is basically produced by your Latvian company, right? Latvian company Grindex, right? And it is basically for a disease called ischemia, in which there is an inadequate flow of blood to the tissues, which ultimately causes starvation and loss of oxygen to the tissues, right? Meldonium provides those patients with circulatory conditioning, and it helps them in better physical conditioning and mental function. But what happens is, it is believed, still now there has been no proof of it, no proper scientific proof of it, but it is believed that when athletes they use it, people who do not use it for medical purposes, but if they use it as such, it helps them improve their sports performance. So Sharapova was banned because of Meldonium. This is one of the hormones that has been used, one Kamalpreet Kaur that she has been accused with is stanozolol. So now you know about two hormones, right? There are a number of hormones that are available in the market without prescription, with prescription, right? And the hormones and injectables like this, basically they are acquired from your black markets. They are sold in black markets for a very high value. Now this is an infographic, right? Source is from WADA. You can find the PDF for this in our Telegram group just after the class. So WADA gave this infographic. So here you can see topmost country which has been using the most amount of doping agents is Russia, right? Russia, then comes your Turkey, and on the third number it's India. The list is pertaining to year 2013, and since then the scenario has not changed. Only Turkey has been replaced by your Italy and Kenya, right? India has still held its position, and it's not a good position to be at. So these are the data about various countries and their performances. See, internationally the doping, it was initially started by Russia when there was not much knowledge about how doping works, how sports enhancing hormones, steroids, etc. they help athletes in performing better. But as soon as along the time the technology progressed, it came into limelight, people started knowing about it, and then the whole concept of banning drugs, etc., evolved. And even till now, Russia, no matter it has one of the highest tally list of Olympians who have won medals, Russia is still notoriously on the top spot for using doping agents and carrying out unethical practices in other means as well. I'll tell you how, right? So let's see a couple of things about WADA. WADA is World Anti-Doping Agency. It was set up in 1999 as International Independent Organization. So it is independent in itself. It is an international organization, and it is composed and funded equally by sports movement and governments by all around the world, right? So its charter, it is not in any way affiliated to UN or anything, but it is a independent organization in itself. Now WADA has a World Anti-Doping Code. What is World Anti-Doping Code? It is a document that provides your whole soul information about what sort of practices are allowed in a particular sport, what hormones are to be banned, and everything, anti-doping rules, etc., everything. So since 2004, WADA has continuously published your list about substances, methods, etc., that has to be banned with which has to be banned pertaining to sports, right? Now comes WADA code. So everything that is ruled by a sports ledger is regulated by WADA code. WADA code is basically a document that aims to harmonize the regulations in all sports across countries, right? So there has been a huge issue because BCCI did not want to come under the WADA code, but ultimately things happened. I know, I'll tell you what things happened. So now even BCCI had to agree to WADA code. So now basically what WADA code works on is, these are 5 aspects: the prohibited list, then testing and investigations, testing of the supplements they are taking, and testing of basically the urine samples of the athletes to test whether they have consumed any sort of doping agent or not, right? Then the laboratories all over the world, whether they are carrying out fair trials, etc. Then certain medications, they are used for therapeutic uses when athletes are suffering from some sort of disease, whether it is a physical disease or it is a mental disease, right? For anxiety purposes also, athletes have been using certain sort of therapeutic medicine. So whether it overlaps, what repercussions it is going to have, WADA sees and oversees controls over everything. Then protection of privacy rights and personal information, WADA has a huge rule and watch over all this as well, right? Now comes on the lines of WADA, India developed its own agency which is registered under Societies Registration Act called NADA. NADA is National Anti-Doping Agency, and it is responsible for your advancing, coordinating and overseeing the doping control program in the country, and it was set up as registered society under Societies Registration Act of 1890 in 2005. So NADA came into existence in 2005, and its main objectives are to enforce anti-doping rules as per the WADA code, then to regulate doping control programs, then to promote education, to educate athletes about what sort of things are ethical, unethical, what is legal, what you can consume, what you can skip, etc., etc., right? And then creating awareness about your doping agents and its effect, its effect that it will have on your performance, on your health in short term and in long term, right? So NADA basically operates on everything. Now let's come to why athletes actually they choose doping. Why they choose doping? So factors for the rise of doping in sports. Your first major, most prime reason is peer pressure. See, when an athlete works their ass off in the field, but they still see their peer, they are performing better than them, साथ वाले जब ज़्यादा better perform कर रहे होते हैं, they try to take the easy way out, because we live in a age of cutthroat competition, and sports is seen as one way to end all, one-stop solution to all your problems, right? Once you get into sports, for example, consider Neeraj Chopra, consider PV Sindhu, consider Sania Mirza. Once they start doing well in the sports, once they start earning name for the country, money, name, fame, etc., etc., a lot of things follows. So people who easily fall prey to these things, they they come under a huge pressure, and then they choose doping as an easy way out. Then irresponsible advisor and fellow athletes. See, advisors may also comes the coaches. Sometimes your coaches, they advise you to take, sometimes your coaches, they also advise you to take illegal substances. See, there was this case of Nirmala Shivran in 2014, where she performed exceptionally well. She got selected into your national camp, but after that she chose to opt out of national camp and train with her personal coach, where she continuously failed the dope tests. So, and even her coach was notoriously involved in this earlier instances of doping. So this is one of the prime reason, when you don't have proper guidance. Then unethical coaches and fellow athletes who ask you to opt for this. Easy availability. India being the pharmacy of the world, it is very easily available in India. Basic, and if you see, जो basic बहुत छोटे छोटे your events are happening, like district events, police events, even ये सैनिकों की भर्ती होती है. You see people, they prefer taking doping agents and then qualifying with a hustle in that area. So easy availability and cheap availability is one of the major reasons. Then poorly administered sports federations, the discrepancies that are there, the unfair practices, poor administration where nepotism functions, where people who are sitting in the board, their children are given preference. This is one of the major reasons that people who actually want to be there, who want it that desperately, they choose for such options, right? Then human fallibility. See, because you want it so bad, the basic question arises of morality. So when your moral compass fluctuates, you are unable to make up your mind what you want to do, what you don't want to do, right? So when you choose the easy way out, so human fallibility is actually the prime reason why you do it in the first place, right? We have a question. Vasu is asking, ma'am, does these also apply to weightlifting? Yes, Vasu, absolutely. Weightlifting, everything. There are a list of this is a very good question. So all sorts of your athletics, whatever are happening, weightlifting, your sprints, everything that is covered under Olympics. So that is a pretty good list. You can have an idea. Swimming is etc etc. Everything they have a certain list. What is allowed, what is not allowed. Also, your cricket BCCI has come under this prerogative. So it is very important that you people have a knowledge about doping, because इसके ऊपर question जरूर आएगा पेपर में, maybe in prelims but definitely in mains, right? I think you might get a question about it in essay as well. So your NADA and anti-doping rules, this specifically what अब problem आती कहाँ है? Your NADA and anti-doping rules, they specifically say if an athlete is found with certain doping substance in their body, right? You're most welcome, Vasu. So if an athlete is found with a certain doping agent in their body, so it is entirely the athlete's fault, right? Athletes have to suspect, athletes have to measure and see what they are eating, what they are putting into their bodies, right? And it is athletes' responsibility to get whatever they eat tested. So now the problem is there is a lot of rules that are going on, but there is a lack of resources. We do not have proper laboratories for testing, and even if the laboratories are there, they're way too expensive. See, most of the athletes, they come from a very humble background. अगर आप sports quota भी देखो तो it is given to people. Usually ऐसा होता है कि students who get selected under sports quota, they do not perform too well in academics. It is not a stereotype, but mostly this is what has been seen, right? So people who excel in sports, they are comparatively weak in academics. So someone who is unaware about all this stuff, how can you expect them to get whatever they eat, whatever supplements they are having tested, right? So NADA, it recently proposed National Anti-Doping Act of India, which actually criminalizes doping as an offence. इसके ऊपर बहुत सारे issues आए थे. How can you criminalize something? It can be a mistake because most of the athletes are youngsters who do not have proper guidance. So you cannot actually criminalize this. There is a whole debate going over it. So we'll discuss that as well some other day, right? Now let's discuss what is ethics of doping, right? Doping war in sports has brought consequences and concerns. The problem with whole issue is, as I told you, morality, your moral compass, whether you want to do it, whether you don't want to do it, what do you want to achieve out of it. And the prime issue that comes with doping, WADA, is your privacy, the issue of your privacy. See, there is a certain thing called whereabout clause. So as per WADA, any athlete has to give continuous report, feedback to WADA where they are at a particular point of time, and in a year twice they have to tell them where they can be available, what event they are testing as per their convenience, so that their urine samples, blood samples can be tested for your drugs. Drugs as in whatever supplements, additional steroids, banned doping agents you are taking, right? So the whole issue of privacy has come, that it hampers our privacy, right to privacy. But uspe bhi WADA has said that cricketers, athletes, them being a public figures, the right to privacy, the whole privacy thing, that does not actually apply to them. So there is this whole debate coming out of it, right? Then foremost issue is athletes being helped by their certain administrators. See, for example, what happened in the Winter Olympics of 2014 in Russia was, there was a setup where Russian athletes were to be tested for this doping agents, but there was a certain secret chamber made inside the testing laboratory where the doped or the real, I wouldn't say doped, but the real urine samples were swapped out with the clean ones. So ethically, where on one hand the athletes were involved, the administration, the Russian administration was also involved. So there is a two-step process. You are helped by your controlling agencies, as well as athletes are inclined to do it, right? Now also there comes a very important question: is doping, is using any sort of technique actually unethical to improve your performance? Because if you put an athlete to some sort of any sort of severe training, right, so it actually puts pressure on your peers as well to perform well, right? So even that intensive amount of training puts a pressure, it changes your composition of body, chemical compositions, right? So how come putting them under extreme pressures is different from allowing them to consume doping agents? Third issue is that. And your fourth issue is the hormones, the steroids, the doping agents they are consuming, they have actually nowhere to be proven. It is an assumption, but there has been no specific scientific proof that they have been consuming, that they actually enhance their performance. And many whatever your steroids, doping agents that are there, they are present in many of your regular medications. Athletes ऐसा नहीं होता है, they are totally fit and fine. Sometimes they suffer from hereditary diseases or etc etc. So in many diseases your doping agents are already present. For example, the example of Maria Sharapova, she said she was taking your this Meldonium for preventing diabetes that has been hereditarily present in her family, right? So this is one major issue that comes within the ethical ambit of doping. Now doping, what I've told you, then the compass of morality we have discussed, and there have been scandals where, for example, I've told you the example of Winter Olympics in Russia of 2014, where ethicals and professionals have been involved with tampering of evidences, right? So that the athletes could complete the task that has been given to them. See, if you see Russia and China training, wahan pe training in India, how athletes train in India and how athletes train in Russia and China, उसका different ही अलग level ही different है. If you see it, you'll know. If you belong to a sports background, you'll know how it differs, right? Now this I've already discussed, what is whereabouts rule, and BCCI earlier was reluctant. BCCI did not want to come under the ambit of WADA, because BCCI said that we do not receive funding from our any of the national or international organization. We regulate on our own terms. We get funding from our own ambit. So we won't be coming under this dope testing rules. But WADA put pressure, then BCCI had to comply ultimately. There was a whole fiasco around it. So earlier what happened was, BCCI said that we won't apply, we won't come under this doping rules. Then WADA put pressure on ICC, International Cricket Council, to seclude, to isolate, to remove BCCI from participating into international championships. Then ICC put pressure on BCCI, and then BCCI succumbed to the demands. So there has been a whole circle about it. And BCCI previously used to use the Sweden-based international dope testing company management for collecting samples, but now everything has come under the ambit of NADA, right? This I've already explained it to you, that World Anti-Doping WADA also had tried to make ICC non-compliant, and ever since 2006, ICC has been WADA's signatory. So it became very important for ICC that it made sure that BCCI also followed the rules, right? Now comes, we have discussed ethical dilemma. I've told you a couple of examples around sports. It's a bit interesting issue. Topic as compared to other topics that we have been discussing, a bit different. So I think you'll like it. Also, there are a couple of things that we have to suggest in our answer, right? So what can be way forward? See, foremost point is, as the act talked about, 2018 act, I already told you about it. It talked about making your doping an illegal criminal offence, right? So already our criminal system is crippled. Whatever judiciary is facing, you must have studied it in polity, right? So already there are so many criminal offences in India. Judiciary is already suffering. Putting youngsters who do not have proper knowledge about it into the same criminal cycle is unfair and unjustifiable, right? So we have to make it sure that measures should be followed so that they have ethical sports in India, they have proper counseling, they know what things they can opt for, what they can eat, what they cannot eat, what ways to choose, right? And this culture of casual doping, which is particularly pertinent in the state of Haryana and Punjab, we have to make it sure that we put a full stop to it, right? Now, along with zero tolerance for doping, we have to inculcate the ethical side of it. We have to educate them about the rules, right, and fairness, and what responsibility in sports means, right? Along with winning the sports, we also have to teach them responsible sports. Now, athletes, they can be provided with continuous workshops, right? Counselings, consultations in the workshops, not just in India but worldwide. Their prism, their magna should be taken up to the whole world. So this is one of the most important things. Now, NADA's initiatives, they need to be supplemented by, see, NADA, what is, NADA has given you a certain rules. People who come from urban areas or metro cities, they understand it, but it should be made sure that these rules and ethical commandments should be inculcated in the sports people who are related to sports in the country, even in the most humble background, through indigenous ways, right? And a concrete framework should be established effectively where counseling of athletes is done, right? We also have to understand the socio-cultural aspects of athlete, what background they come from, what family values, what moral values they hold. So even that must be taken into consideration, and there should be independent tribunals, independent bodies. Instead of subjecting them to the core criminal justice system, there should be independent tribunals which hear the cases, and accordingly they assign the punishment or whatever the sentence is required for if someone is caught with the same issue, right? So I think doping topic is covered and it is clear. If not, you can mention it in comments. I'll take up if there are any doubts. Now, coming to our second topic, National Family Health Survey. National Family Health Survey के जो outputs हैं, जो भी data है उसके, that are coming out in bits and pieces. Ministry of Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, they are releasing the data of National Family Health Survey in batches. So recently on 5th May they released another set of data and it has some promising results. Your use of modern contraceptive for family planning or whatever reasons, that has increased. It is a very good thing because India has been striving to control its total fertility rate. Our total fertility rate target for this decade was 2.1, and it's a very good news that we have actually not only achieved it, but we have been able to achieve a TFR of a less number than our targeted one, right? Basically, it is prevalent among working women. As you can compare, if you compare it with the previous years, the women who constitute the population of the country, a lot more of them are currently in the working force, taking part in the working force. Most of the women of today, they are not just housewives, they are performing multiple roles. So family planning has taken a huge bump from what was experienced in past years. So use of contraceptives has gone up. National Family Health Survey 5 says so. And the sex ratio in the country, sex ratio means number of females per 1000 males, has actually been very promising. It is the first time that females have outnumbered males. So the number of schemes that the government has put into place, whether it is Ladli Yojana, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, etc., etc., right? So they are showing results now in this generation. So this is one of the good news. And as I already told you, our TFR rate, total fertility rate, it has come down to a certain level. Now, a National Family Health Survey 5 is similar to National Family Health Survey 4's report. However, a couple of changes have been there. A couple of topics which were earlier not included or unaccounted for, they have been included, like preschool education, disability, access to toilet facility, right, your death registrations, your bathing practices during menstruation, and your methods and reasons for abortions. They have been included. So this is the difference between National Family Health Survey 4 and 5. Right now, key findings: the total sex ratio, it has improved in last 5 years, right? So this is one of the promising news. Then households with at least one member that is covered under health insurance financing, that has gone up from 28.7% to 41%, almost double हो गया है. So this is not exactly, but almost, if you see in the bigger picture, almost double हो गया है health insurance. So all the schemes that we have been putting it into, like Jan Dhan Yojana and your accounts, etc., etc., including the government schemes. So these have shown results. Then 20 to 24 year old women who got married before the age of 18 years, right, that has gone down from 26.8% to 23.3%. So women choosing to marry at a later age, right, or their education, whatever the reasons may be. So this is happening. This is the good news for India for population control, right? Now the adolescent fertility rate, right, which was women between 15 to 19 years of age, it has seen a decline of 43%, from 51% to 43%. So this is news. And in rural area the number was nearly twice, right, 49 tha, and in urban India it is 27. Then neonatal mortality rate. What is neonatal mortality rate? We have already discussed it. The mortality rate of the person post gestation till 20 weeks, 20 days, sorry, 20 days, that it is called, if a person dies, it is called neonatal mortality rate. So even that has decreased from 24.9 per live births, right? Then IMR, your infant mortality rate, the mortality rate of a child after it is born, it has gone down to 35.2 per 1000 live births. So this is a good news. All in all, it is showing promising results. Then family planning has gone up, as I told you about contraceptives, right? So data has been given there. Then use of modern methods of control, contraceptive controls, that includes your condoms, your contraceptive pills, IUDs that are placed in your reproductive organs, and injectables, that has also gone up. People have been opting for your modern usage of contraception, right? Now for the major part, obesity has gone up. Obesity means if you are more fat than, if your BMI index is more than what it is supposed to be, body mass index, right? If you are excessively fat, it is called obesity. So if you see overweight children, it has increased for all of us. Overweight children under, this is the data for 2015-16, this is the data for 2019-21. So it has gone up from 2.1 to 3.4. For women, it has gone from 20.6 to 20.4, and for men it has gone from 18.9 to 22.9. So सबसे ज़्यादा men में obesity has increased, has been showing up. Then India's total fertility rate has declined from 2.2% to 2, right? हमारा टारगेट 2.1 का था, हमने 2 अचीव कर लिया. इट्स अ वेरी गुड थिंग. देन अगेन कम्स आवर नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम women outnumber men. तो your sex ratio was 991 and we have achieved it to 1020, and at birth from 919 to we have achieved it to 929. Then if you talk about mortality rates have declined from 49.7% to 41.9%, from 40% to 35.2%, and neonatal, as we have all discussed, 29% to 24.9%. So your death rates have declined. Now anemia is something that has been a burning topic. We have already discussed anemia in detail. Anemia is basically the presence of low hemoglobin, low iron in your body. So anemic kids, anemia has been spread across all the age groups. So kids which age from 6 to 59 months, right? So in them anemia has increased from 58.6% to 67.1%. In women it has increased from 53.1% to 57%. In pregnant women, which is sort of considered to be okay, because when you're pregnant, your body consumes a lot of things out of you. So in pregnant women it was expected, but it has still increased from 50.4 to 52.4. But the alarming rate is the increase of anemia in men. Anemia in men was something that was not expected, and it has increased from 22.7% to 25%. So this is a huge point that has to be noticed, and its causes and remedies are to be found out. Then nutritional status has seen a slight improvement, right? Kids below the age of year 5, right? For them nutritional status, here it was 38.4 and it has further declined to 35.5. Then similarly 21 and 19.3, 35 and 30.2. So if you see, there has been a constant decline, even if you compare the body mass indices. So basically it shows the health status, the fitness status of the people in India. It is bad, it is very bad right now, and this basically shows our sedentary lifestyle, our very stagnant couch potato lifestyle, also the lifestyle diseases we have induced in our bodies. These lifestyle diseases are self-induced. So this is a huge matter of concern, right? So this was all about your National Family Health Survey 5. I hope the topics for today are clear. These topics were basically they were important from your mains point of view, and if you have any doubts you can mention them in comments. I'll try taking them up in our next class. That's all for today. Stay tuned in, keep learning, keep watching, and all the best for your exams. Thank you so much.